In this tutorial, I'm going to show you some basic fundamentals in transcription. And what I've done here, I have already transcribed a couple of minutes of audio, and we're going to play the audio and analyze what I wrote, why I wrote, and how I wrote it. So let's just start. I'll give you a bit of background on this. This is an interview between a moderator from Canada and an executive of a major Canadian bank. And they're talking about switching business clients from an old platform that allows the clients to manage their cash, their business dealings online, to a new platform system. So with that bit of background, I'm going to start playing the audio, and we're going to discuss what I wrote, why I wrote it, and how I wrote it. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. Anwar Karo from CIBC.
Hi, Anwar. It's Wendy Shaw from Spark Ideas speaking. How are you?
Okay, let's stop right there. Now, that's only 3 sentences that we've gone over, but let's start talking about it right now. I've highlighted. Please note the first sentence, of course, the hello question, is very straightforward. But watch how the second sentence is written. Hi, good morning, Anwar from CIBC. It's important to put a period right after hi and after good morning. Don't put commas because that runs the sentence together. These are basically separate ideas. Hi, good morning, you might be able to separate with a comma, but I'd rather you didn't. I'd rather you just write hi, period, good morning, period, Anwar from CIBC, period. Then the moderator responds and says, hi, comma, Anwar. You say hi, that's the salutation, and you put the comma to separate who she's speaking to. Then she says, it's Wendy Shaw from Spark Ideas speaking, period, how are you? Many times what we see in transcription is this. There's no comma after hi. Instead of a period after Anwar, there's a comma, and it's Wendy Shaw from Spark Ideas speaking, another comma, and lowercase h, how are you? And you notice that when the sentence was made, hi Anwar, it's Wendy Shaw from Spark Ideas speaking, how are you? She said it very quickly. Let's hear it again. I'll just play it back for you.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. Anwar Karo from CIBC.
Hi, Anwar. It's Wendy Shaw from Spark Ideas speaking. How are you?
Okay, so we're going to stop right there. See what I mean? She said, hi Anwar, it's Wendy Shaw from Spark Ideas speaking, how are you? It all sounds like it's one breath, one sentence, but it's not. It's actually 3 complete sentences. So let's fix this again. Hi, comma, Anwar, one thought. She's greeting him. Then she's identifying who she is. It's Wendy Shaw from Spark Ideas speaking. Period. And then she asks, how are you? So don't make this a run-on sentence or a sentence with comma splices. Comma splices are when you have commas that separate 2 independent clauses or sentences. Here we have 3 sentences. Hi Anwar, it's Wendy Shaw from Spark Ideas speaking. How are you? Okay, so let's listen to the next line.
Well, Wendy, and you?
Good, fine, Anwar. It's Wendy Shaw from Spark Ideas speaking. How are you?
Well, Wendy, and you?
Good, fine. Thank you.
Okay. Now, the respondent had a little bit of trouble articulating, and this is another fundamental in transcription. Just because someone has trouble articulating a word doesn't mean you write the poor articulation. You have to write essentially what they intended to say. In this particular case, the respondent responds by saying, very well, Wendy, and you. That is a typical greeting or a typical return greeting to a question like, how are you? So it's quite reasonable to say, very well, comma, Wendy, period, and you, question mark. And then the moderator goes on in the next line. Let's try that.
So much for making Spark Ideas speaking. How are you?
Very well, Wendy, and you?
Good, fine. Thank you so much for making the time available for me this morning. Will you...
Okay. Good, fine. Again, many times people will put good, comma, fine, comma, thank you so much. That's not what we want in transcription. You want good period, fine period, thank you so much for taking the time for me this morning. It's really important that you separate these things. Okay? And then she goes on into the question.
Say your first name again for me. So much for making the time available for me this morning. Will you say your first name again for me so I know I'm saying it properly?
Yeah, Anwar.
Okay, great. Good. Thank you.
Okay. Now in transcription, again, you don't have to write everything that they say. You want everything that is important. So when the respondent says, yeah, Anwar, you don't need to have yeah, Anwar. Put Anwar, because that is the direct response to the question. You have to think like the researcher when you are transcribing. In other words, please consider that they are looking only for the most relevant data. They don't want all these extraneous words like yeah, you know, I mean, kind of, sort of, any of that stuff, because that distracts from the data. And the researchers don't have time to try to figure out what the respondent is actually saying, what the data is actually saying. They want the meat of the data. So you have to do some editing while you're writing. You're not changing anything that was said, really. Certainly this is not for a court transcription. If it was a court transcription, it might be different. You may need to write all those little utterances, those extra words, because they reveal something. But in this kind of research, they don't. They're a distraction, and they detract from the data. So let's continue.
Thank you so much. I want to spend the next 50 or 60 minutes chatting with you about this planned conversion from CBB to the new cash management online platform.
Now, let's stop again. Notice how when she said thank you so much, period, and she stuttered, she stumbled, she was trying to gather her thoughts. Again, you don't write the initial I. Just cut to the chase, write the relevant data. I want to spend the next 50 or 60 minutes chatting with you about this planned conversion from CBB to the new cash management online platform. As you can see, it looks very clean, very clear. The way she had said it is more distraction, more of a distraction to the data. We don't want that.
And I know that there has been some very preliminary information. Sorry, it sounds like they're coming to get me here. I know there was some preliminary information that has been circulated in the last couple of weeks, and I assume that you have received some of that information and at least know what the topic is about.
Okay, this is a great example right here of cleaning up a transcription, making sure that you write only the relevant data. As you could hear in the background, there were sirens going on, and the moderator was even distracted by those sirens. Again, that doesn't add to the transcript. The researchers are not looking to find out whether or not there were fire engines or ambulances rushing to the scene while they're doing the interview. What they want is just the questions and answers to this particular topic. And I've also cleaned up her distraction so that it reads much more clearly. Let's go back a bit.
I want to spend the next 50 or 60 minutes chatting with you about this planned conversion from CBB to the new cash management online platform. And I know that there has been some very preliminary information. Sorry, it sounds like they're coming to get me here. I know there was some
Okay, so you could tell that she's distracted, and she has sort of a false start when she starts talking about, I know there's been some preliminary information. Then she refers to the ambulances, and then she sort of picks this up again. Eliminate all that extraneous verbiage, if you will, the irrelevant talk that she has. We don't need that. What we need is her point, and her point is, I know there has been some preliminary information that's been circulated in the last couple of weeks, period. I assume you have received some of that information and at least know what the topic is about. Very clear, very succinct, and that's what you want to write.
Preliminary information that has been circulated in the last couple of weeks. And I assume that you have received some of that information and are...
And notice also she said, and I know you are, and then she goes, I assume you have. Just go with assume, I assume you have. Clean that up because she changes the way she structures the sentence as she goes along.
At least know what the topic is about.
At a very high level, I know
Yes.
what the talk is about, but I haven't seen any information on it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now the respondent, the audio drops out a little bit. It's not 100% clear what he's saying, but it's very obvious that you can fill in the blanks, if you will, or the dropouts in the audio. At a very high level, I know what it is about, but I haven't seen or know any information about it. That is much better than typing inaudible for all those things that drop out. Unless you really don't understand something, don't type inaudible. What I want you to do is to use deductive reasoning. Use some of your critical thinking skills and fill in those blanks. But don't put any crazy idea in. Do what is most logical. If you don't understand the concept at all, then please type in inaudible.
All right. Okay. Well, let me give you a little bit more information about what our conversation is going to be about today. And
okay, I don't want you to have in this particular sentence. Let me give you a little bit more of as she stutters there, and then she says more information. Just clean that up. Let me give you a little bit more information about what our conversation is going to be today, period.
And what we're going to, the purpose of our call is to talk about...
Again, she starts by saying what we are going to, and then she says the purpose of our call, and there's a typo there, or extra word that we don't want, so let's remove that.
The need for communication and education and support that will be linked.
Okay, I'm going to change that because she mentioned supports, not support.
To this migration process, so it's not about the functionality or the technical.
Okay, so she goes. So it's not about. You can eliminate the so. You can clean that up. Sometimes it's okay to leave a coordinating conjunction in there, but try to clean it up as much as you can because it's really not that relevant. In this case, the word so also means the word therefore. She makes the statement quite clear. It's not about the functionality or the technical aspects of either CBB or this new cash management online system. I don't want you to change anything that she says. Don't paraphrase, but eliminate the extraneous words that don't need to be there and that distract and detract from the data.